So, good evening, all the participants. Myself, CA Vaibhav Patil. At the very outset, I would like to welcome all the participants on the behalf of WRC of ICI. On the fourth day of this workshop, that is data management, and I would also like to welcome today's faculty, that is Professor Asif Rampurawala sir and Professor Sanjeela Sagar madam. So I request both of you to start with today's session, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind introduction. And welcome back, everyone. I know we've been going through a lot of, MySQL, and today is technically the last day of MySQL, and from tomorrow we will be moving on to R. So I think I will repeat what I had said yesterday before we start off with today's session. The setup or the installation files for R and R Studio. Sanjeela ma'am, if we can open the drive and show them.
Yes.
So we have uploaded two files, one for R and the other for R Studio. जैसे MySQL और Workbench दो है, वैसे ही R के लिए we need R and R Studio, two things. Both of the setup files have been shared with you. There is no requirement for any VC++ or anything in this R and R Studio, hopefully, so you will be able to install that without a glitch. If you are using MacBook, I had shared a link yesterday on the answers page. I will share it again, no problem. Which was basically a tutorial on how to install R and R Studio on Mac OS. Okay, so I will just do that. So you can please install both.
So this is the folder which is been shared with you all. ICI WRIC folder. And in this folder we have given you all the, even VC++ also I have given if somebody is facing problem for installing MySQL and wants to install VC++. So VC++ is this one. Then we have given you two things. One is R for Windows and second is R Studio. So first you have to install R on your machine and then you have to install R Studio. So first R and then R Studio.
I am. What I will do is I'll upload a small file. Just give me 1 second. Ma'am, drive on rakhiega. What I'll do is I'll just upload a simple file where the steps for R and R Studio के लिए for Mac users, only for Mac users. Okay, जिनका MacBook है उनके लिए. Okay. I will upload a file for that. I don't know if Google Drive somebody will help for that. Okay. Yes. R and R Studio install.
Hopefully, we will
All right.
be able to do this today.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's start.
Yes, okay. I hope everybody is now comfortable with MySQL. You know where to write the queries and all that. And in yesterday's session, we have learned about joins, and we have learned about complex queries. How we fire those complex queries? And in joins, we have learned two types of join. Those were inner join and self joins, right? So this is what we have covered yesterday. So today we are going to learn about DML operations, that is called as data manipulation language, and we have to perform few operations onto data. So till now we have learned about how to retrieve data from the database, but we have not learned how to make changes into the data. Like suppose I want to add a new employee, or I want to delete an employee who has left the organization, or I want to update something. Update in the sense is like, suppose there is a product whose price has been changed, right? Or the discount price has been changed. So all those changes we need to make into our database. Or some employee has got promotion, his designation has been changed. So all those changes if we have to make, then what kind of operations we have to perform? We need to perform is DML operations, and these are of three types: insert, update, and delete. So whenever I need to add a new record into any table, I need an insert operation. If I need to delete anything from a table, then I need is delete. And last one is update. If I want to update any value, then I need is update operation. So let us learn one by one what is the syntax of them and how we can do that. So these are the three statements you can see here: insert, update, and delete. So in insert, it allows you either one row to be inserted, or you can insert more rows into a table at a time. Means you can insert multiple rows at a time. Similar manner, update, you can update a single value or a single row, or you can update multiple rows at a time. And delete, it deletes data from a table. So these three commands we will learn today first. Let's do some examples here. All right. First, we are going to insert into a table. See here, then again there is a flexibility here with us what we want to insert into a table. Do we want to insert values for all the columns, or we want to add only few columns to it? Right? If it permits null for other columns, we have to remember this. If null is permitted, then only we can have this selection. If all columns are compulsory, then we have to add all. So how do we can insert it? So let me take first example here. I'm starting my workbench, and then we will see one table, and then we will enter into it. So this is what we did yesterday. So let me open a table. Let me open any table. Let me add some new products, right? So let me write the command select star from products, and we will see first what it consists of. Hmm? Okay, so it has come now. Select a star from products. So products have come. So what do products table consist of? Product code, then there is product name, then product line, product scale, product vendor, product description, quantity in stock, buy price, and MSRP, maximum sale retail price. So let me write it with describe products. So if I do this command, so I will get its structure. So it is saying that null is not allowed in any of the tables. So all are compulsory. इसमें एंट्री कर पाएंगे फिर all are compulsory tables. तो मुझे दिखाना था वो difference. How can we do it? Okay, let me do insert here first. Let me do insert here. Insert into products, and then values I have to write, and then I have to start writing the values. First I have to write the product code. So I'm saying P101 because it's a string type. That's the reason I have made here describe products, so that I will understand what data type I'm supposed to enter. So you can see a product code is varchar. It is character. So characters always goes into where? Into single quotes or double quotes. Then we have to write the product name. Suppose I am writing product name as coffee ka time hai, so let me add it as coffee. Okay, and then next is what? Product line. So product line is whose coffee we drink? Brew. Okay, brew. Okay, then next is product scale. So I don't know what is this product scale here. So let me enter any random value here. Then it is saying is product vendor. So who is the vendor? So John is the vendor. Then let me take product description. So it's coffee. Okay. Then next is product description is done. Then is quantity in stock. So let me write there are 250 quantities available in our stock. Quantity in stock. Then buy price. What is the buy price? So let buy price is 120. Then what is MSRP? So MSRP, I don't know how much profit do they make. So buy price is 120, so let me make it as 140, and I'm done. Okay, and then semicolon. And now I have to run this. So if I execute this, if I execute this, so it will add a record into the table, and then I will execute select star from products. So let me enter this. Abhi mera, where is my record? So it will be added at the end or somewhere else. Where has my record gone? I can't see this. Let me run this command again. Do it has made any changes or not? Now let me check with where then. Select star from products. Where? What was this name? Product code was the name. 1 minute. Pehle let us see what are their column names. So the column name is product code. So let me write where product code equals to what I have entered is P101. So nahi enter hua. There is nothing like that. It has not inserted anything. Insert into products values not entered. What could be the reason? So do I am supposed to mention here its columns names? So let me do it again and try this. Why it is not working? So let me write here all the okay, column names. Product. It has given also, no? Product code, then product name, then product line, then product scale, then it is product vendor, then what is the next? Product description, then next is quantity in stock, then next is buy price, so buy price, then next is MSRP. So let us execute now whether it works fine or not, and let me execute this. Still it is not working. It is not taking insert statement. What could be the reason? We don't have any rights, so it is not taking from us. Let me see into the project table then. Let me see if we are
मैम
able to
यूज डेटाबेस किया है?
use database किया, तभी तो select command चल रहा है ना सर. नहीं तो select command कहाँ से चलता, use ना होता तो. I don't know. Let me see with this table then if it makes insert. It is giving me crosshair error. What is the problem? Insert into projects. Values this. इसका एरर तो समझ में आ गया. वो इसका थोड़ा सा एक प्रॉब्लम रहता है कि हम लोग जो ये कॉमा डाल देते हैं ना, तो ये थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम देता है. typo mistake हुआ.
So let us put just one record first. Let's try with one record about it.
हाँ, ये ना थोड़ा typo mistake है इधर. ये इसका वाला लिया हुआ है ना. Let me copy and paste this one.
I understand.
हाँ, वो उसका रहता है ना notepad जैसा.
The character, the single quote on a keyboard has a different single quote when you copy paste it from PowerPoint. So that is an issue.
Yes.
Single quotes.
Into projects.
मैं वो single quotes आप सब जगह टाइप ही कर दीजिए. Maybe all the single quotes are being copy pasted wrong. Not just for the date, even the name and everything.
Just done. उधर ही था वो, लास्ट में इशू आता है. That's it. Rest everything is okay. Now I did insert here. Is it executed? Let me see. Select star from.
So this happens when we copy paste our queries from somewhere. Sometimes the copy when we copy and paste, the double quotes and single quotes can become 6699, which is not required in SQL. SQL both double quotes are the same. So just because there are some characters which are not readable, so human eye को पता नहीं चलता है, but there can be a technical problem there when we copy paste queries.
Use this, select this, describe this, select this, nothing is there, describe this, description came, insert, then again select. No, not working at all, any insert statement. Let me do it onto there then.
मैम ऑटो कमिट का कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना?
नहीं, nothing. Let me do it onto that SQL client. No, there is no issue related to auto commit.
Let me try it on my end as
Hmm. 110 rows. Let me now fire my query that insert this error. Table classic models dot projects does not exist. So there was no projects here.
well. No, project table was not
हम
there,
लोग
ma'am.
प्रोडक्ट्स में कर रहे थे हम लोग पहले. एक मिनट. Let we do it into products then. Cannot add or update a child row because of foreign key constraint fails. ये चीज मुझे दिखानी थी. यही चीज आ गई. See, the thing is what it is showing that it is not able to do this because of foreign key constraint failed. So which was the foreign key constraint? I have written describe products. So here it is showing product code is a primary key, and then it is showing a product line is multi-valued attribute. But with this, I am not able to get where is my foreign key, from which table it is coming. So where do I will go? I will go here and I will see here what is the foreign key given. Can you see here with the products table, I get the entire information in the SQL workbench. Products, it was showing with the products, it is showing what are the columns. So all these are the columns. Then it is showing me indexes, and under the indexes, it is showing is a foreign key. So this is the foreign key. Let me see this. What is this foreign key? So it where do this foreign key will get stored? Then it will get stored into where? Into information schema. Where do I will get that? I will get that from information schema. Let me write this. Show tables. So here is what customers, employees, and this. Products, na? But it is showing classic models dot information schema does not exist. इसका information schema is not there. अच्छा ठीक है. It's okay. Let us do how we can do that. इसका तो problem दे रहा है. तो let us do towards insert onto employees. I think employees में कोई भी नहीं रहेगा problem. नहीं, employees में भी है foreign keys, 2 foreign keys are there. कोई ऐसा है जहाँ पे foreign key नहीं हो? Offices में नहीं है. So let us do insert in offices first. So offices consist of what? Office code, city. First let us describe this so that we will come to know कौन से में null जा सकता है. So we will avoid that. So describe offices. So null address line 2 and state may we can have null. So we will avoid these. So how do my statement will be then? Insert into offices, and then I have to put the column names in which I want to enter. So it is office code, then is city, then is phone, then is address line 1, and address line 2 we can avoid, state we can avoid, so I can write country directly, then is postal code, and then is territory. Right. And then the syntax is what? Insert into table name, and then in brackets you have to put all the columns in which you want data, and then we have to write is values, and then we will enter all the values. So here into the office code, let me take it down. Now values. Office code is again a varchar. So let me write here 10 office code. Then is city. So let me take city as Mumbai. Then next is a phone number, again varchar 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Then is address line 1. So let me write address line as Bandra Kurla complex. Okay, so then next is we are supposed to enter is country. So our country is India. Then next is postal code. So 400. This is again a varchar. Okay. Then next is a territory. So territory में क्या डालें? Value. What we should put? Which territory we belong to? Mumbai belongs to. कौन सी value डाल दें? Which territory do we put? चलो central. Okay. So let me execute this. Hopefully it will exist, and then we will say select star from office is already written. So we will go there and click enter. So is it entered? No, it is not allowing, sir. Sir, we need to create our own tables first, because this is the ready-made data. It is entered. Mumbai wala. At number 10, Mumbai, phone number, Bandra Kurla complex, both null, country, India, postal code, this, territory, central. Yes, entered. We succeeded. Okay, so this is how we enter records into it. And what will happen if I want to enter values into all? So let me see this. Let me take it again and let me remove after offices what column names I have taken. So let me start with values, and then let me take here values as what? First was office code, then city, then phone number, address line 1, address line 2, address line 2 I want to keep it as null. तो क्या करेंगे? Shall I enter null here? Okay, then my state अभी change कर लेते हैं इसको. This is 101 Navi Mumbai. Phone number we will put 1 here, then here it is Vashi complex, Then country India, zip code, let us make it as 15.
Ma'am,
Then
state is
set,
missing before India.
before India is the state. So 2 nulls.
MH. अच्छा
चलो
लगेगा.
ठीक है, MH we will put. Okay, MH. Then India, then this, and let me put here territory as harbor. चलिए हो गया, and let me execute this, and let me go to select star from offices and see. Yes, our record is inserted. See here, the thing is, then why do I have written after table names so many column names? है ना? अब ये देखो, I have not written anything, and my directly insert has worked. So why do I did this? The thing is, if you don't give after offices, if you don't give all column names into which you want entry, so by default it takes that you are going to enter in all the columns, and if you miss any, there will be a problem, right? So that's the reason, if you want to skip any column, so you have to give the name of those columns, the order in which you want to enter. So here I have entered, first you take office code, then take city, then phone, then address like one, then country, then postal code, then territory. So it has taken in that order the values which I have given. But if we miss this, can you see here, I was supposed that I don't want to enter any value for address line 2, then I was forced to write null here. Okay, then it means I was forced to enter here null. So this is the difference between the two, that if you want to enter for all columns, then no need to write after table name any name of the column. If not, then you are supposed to write all this, right?
मैम चैट में जरा कमांड डाल दीजिए.
हाँ, कमांड्स में सभी डाल देती हूँ. Yes, yes.
So the thing somebody has asked is a good question. The office code one के बाद after 1 you can see 10 and 101 and then 234. It is not sorted numerically because the office code has been given the data type as varchar. Varchar means variable characters. That means it is text. So the office code allows alphanumeric code. We have entered only numbers. That is another story. But the design of the table has been done with such a way that the code is not a numeric value. Because the code is not a numeric value, it is doing alphabetical sorting rather than numeric sorting.
So there one is a text basically, not number. Yes, commands have been shared in the chat.
I have put it in the questions to I've answered to some people with the same, so you can copy from the previous people's question also. Chat, ma'am has inserted the insert queries and the select star and describe offices and stuff. If you want,
I think
for maximum I can do is I can put it on WhatsApp also. So I'll put it on WhatsApp also for you. So I put it on WhatsApp also. अब सब जगह मिल गया.
okay, see this, what we can do next with our data. So I am creating a table, new table as stats, where we will keep statistics related to this our data. So what will be there? So how do we create tables, right? So what is the command to create a new table? So the command is create a table table name, whatever name you want to give, you have to write here. Then in the brackets, you have to give first the name of the column which you want to keep, and then its data type. If you want multiple column names, then separate them with comma. So there in this statistics table, there will be 3 columns. One will be storing the total products, one will be storing the total customers, and one will be storing the total orders, right? So this is, and how do I will get that total product, total customer, and total order values? So for that, what do I am doing is, how do I will take the values for this? So I am doing is simply count star function.
Ma'am,
Remember that we did earlier
yeah,
also.
ma'am, I would suggest we break it up. Let's show the select count once again for products, customers, and orders separately, and then we will do the insert in one line, so they will understand much better.
Hmm.
Let us just do the 3 selects queries first, and then we will show
Okay,
them how
okay.
to put them in insert step by step.
Yes, yes. Okay, ठीक है. Let we go step by step. So what do I am doing is I'm going to create a statistics table. See what happens is the upper management is not interested into daily ye how many, and they will be interested into a summary that how many transactions are being made into a single day, right? And how many customers do we have now? So this is what they will be interested in. So instead of giving them data, going back and do this, so what we are doing is we are creating one table, separate table, and in that every day the summary of data will get stored there, right? So even we can put date also. On this date this much number of products we were having, this much number of customers we were having, and this much number of orders were being delivered. So in that way we can store this. So let me see first, select a star from products, right? So let me take select star from products first, and let me enter this. So all the records related to products have come here, right? All the records related to products have come here. And then let us see for select a star from customers, and let me do select count star, so that we will get how many number of records are there into the products table. So I'm writing is what, select count star. So total 110 records are there in products table. So similar manner, let me see how many customers do we have. So select a star from customers will give me the entire table, right? If I will see this, it will give me the entire record, but I want count how many customers do I have. So for that I will use count star function. So it will count and will tell me. So total 122 customers we have. And then let me see how many orders we have. So select a star from orders. So it will give me the entire details of the orders table, but I want to see how many number of orders we have. So for that we need to do is what, count a star, and then I will get. See, this is what I need to write 3 different commands. First is select count star from product, select star from customer, select star from orders. So 3 times I need to do it, then I will get the entire information. But instead of this, what we do is we are going to create a table that will store this statistical information. So how do we create a table? So for that we have written create table stats, and then we are saying with 3 columns. So how do we have to write? What is the syntax for it? So this is how generally we write, that is create a table, table name, then column name and its data type, right? And its data type. If it will be a character type, suppose I am writing here, let me take as a stat id, and I want to write here as varchar, then I have to specify its size also, how much I want. So its ID should be a minimum, maximum of 10 characters long. So this is how we can store, and while entering the values, I can write here that this number is what, 110, and so on. So this is how you can add whatever you want into your table. It totally depends on the requirements for whom we are creating this database. So how do we create a table? So the syntax is create table, table name, and then column name, its data type, and if a length is required, that length we put it into brackets. Then another table, that is total product. Now with int we don't have any kind of size because integer by default has a size. So that's the reason we don't have to specify any specific size, number of digits it should take this, because it is not a string type. But here, because it's a variable character, we have to specify its size. Then similar for total customers, it's an integer. Total order, it's an integer. Then what we are doing once the table is created. So let me do control plus enter. So my table is created. Now I want to put values into it. So what do we have written? Select insert into stats. So now I want the value for a stat ID also. So first all the column names, or even you can avoid also, because by default it is going to take all the names. We have checked that also. So first value is of what? Stat ID, which I have entered as 110. Now next is total products. So how do we will get total products? So we are saying select count star from products. So it will take values from there. As we have just fired this query now, select count star from products. So it has shown 110. So it will get converted into 110. Then next is for total customers. So for total customers, we are writing select count star from customers. So then what it will do, the total number of customers, it will write here. Then total orders, similar manner, select star count star from orders. So total count will come and get stored into this column in this particular row. And then we are going to see whether the record has been entered or not. So let us do this insert statement. Let me do so that it could be visible. So let me run this. So it is been executed. Let me see whether stats consist of this value or not. So let me execute this, select star from. So you can see here that it is showing us this value. I think ye create table हमने किया नहीं run. So create table, insert into, and then select star. So it will come. यहाँ पे ना इसके एरर्स, आउटपुट विंडो नहीं ओपन कर पा रही हूँ मैं इसकी, सारे एरर्स इधर आते हैं।
मैम नीचे है ना उसको, हाँ उसको,
हाँ मैं किया, उसको ऊपर नहीं हो रहा ना, वो मेरे मशीन पे नहीं हो रहा।
धीरे से करिए, होता है
क्या नहीं दिखा
नहीं, उधर से नहीं, थोड़ा ऊपर डार्क ब्लू। हाँ,
वो भी किया उसको मैंने, हाँ उसको किया, सब ट्राई कर रही हूँ मैं, अनडॉक भी करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ।
नहीं आता है, उसका माउस गलत जगह पे है।
उसको अनडॉक करने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ तो भी नहीं ले रहा वो।
जस्ट टच एट द स्क्रॉल बार, जहाँ पे स्क्रॉल बार है ना, जस्ट एट द स्क्रॉल बार, वहाँ पे आपको,
मैंने उसको बड़ा कर पाई मैं उसको।
यस So now we can put them all together.
उधर डाल देती हूँ.
Yes. मैम वो इंसर्ट बाद में डालिए, इंसर्ट स्टैट्स बाद में डालिए, नहीं तो ऑर्डर गलत हो जाएगा. Yes, now it's fine.
नहीं, I think मेरा सिर्फ ऑर्गेनाइजर एंड पैनलिस्ट जा रहा है. Let me change it to all audience. उनको मिला ही नहीं होगा एक भी क्वेरी. Now they will get. This new table that will be created, is it a temporary table or is it added to the database? It is not a temporary table.
टेम्पररी टेबल टॉपिक एंड में कवर करेंगे यार. We will study how to create new table with various constraints like primary key, foreign key, auto increment, and all of that just in a few minutes. Okay, so right now we are trying to finish off insert. Once we do insert, we will update delete. We will also go into create table and how to create a database, how to create a table today.
Let we go into that first and later on we will do all this.
Yes, चलेगा.
ठीक है ना, तो पहले ये कर लेते हैं क्योंकि
पहले डेटाबेस ही दिखा दीजिए मैम. पहले नया डेटाबेस फिर नया टेबल उसी में क्रिएट कर दीजिए, बेटर रहेगा. डेटाबेस क्रिएशन पहले है, इसके पहले टेबल के पहले बिफोर दैट. Yeah, so we can start from there.
Yes. So what we are going to do is first let us learn how to create a database. So the command for it is create a database, and then we have to write if not exist. So if it doesn't exist, then only create this. If it exists, then don't do anything because it already exists. So uske liye rehta hai ye create a database, and then we have to give the name of the database. So here we are going to create a new database, that is a test DB. So let us run this command and we will be having a new database here. So let me do is what? Let me write a new query then, because there we were using classical model.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible, guys? Okay. Okay, I am audible, but ma'am isn't, right? Okay, so let me quickly then take over from where ma'am was. Let me see if I can share my screen. Or has ma'am come back? Yeah, ma'am, you were not there for last 30-40 seconds. So people don't. If you 30-40 seconds, you had your voice and video was blanked out.
Oh,
तो अगर आपने कुछ
अच्छा.
लास्ट कुछ बोला होगा तो प्लीज.
Okay, just I have given the command how to create this database. So I said is to write this command, create a database, a test a DB. So let me give them here also in the chat window.
Yeah, so there was this one question which was being sent by someone in the group about how to upload data from Tally into the database. Now, see, I understand as chartered accountants in India, Tally is probably what you eat, breathe, and drink, all the time. Unfortunately, Tally is not a product which works well with open source, MySQL and database. Because Tally का advantage ये है कि वो उसका data अगर वो open पूरी तरह कर देगा तो Tally की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. So what they do, what Tally tries to keep you is उसका एक problem है जिसे कहते हैं data lock-in. Data lock-in means it tries to make sure that you are not able to move to some other software very easily. So there is a possibility, there are ways of doing it, but they are very complicated ways of doing it and sometimes very expensive ways of doing it. And therefore it is impossible for us to do it in a workshop because there will be there will be 100 errors depending on the versions and depending on everything. So the basic steps are that you export Tally to an CSV file or an XML file, data export का option है, and then you import that into MySQL. But that only works if we first replicate all the tables. So पहले हमें database create करना पड़ेगा, जैसे अभी मैम दिखा रहे हैं test DDTB. Then we'll have to create all the tables with all the fields which are there in your Tally database, and only then we can bulk import all the records from Tally into those tables. But what table automatically create नहीं होते हैं. We have to manually create, and there are so many fields in Tally that the creation will go as a maddening process. So you will have to probably hire somebody to do it for you. As a layman, we can't do that on our own, or we will require too much of free time. इतना time आपके पास होगा नहीं. So that is the only trouble with Tally coming into MySQL. Sorry, ma'am. So you can
So
run
even
SQL commands.
Tally ERP works, not other Tally. Tally
तो
ERP, if you have
Tally
Tally
ERP
ERP,
में
then only
calculator
you
में
will.
आप yes, तो Tally calculator के अंदर you can run queries. That is okay. But उसको अगर database में पूरा copy करके इधर लाना है तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा difficult है. Yes, we can import data from Excel and everything. That's not a problem.
Excel ka to I have shown also na, there is a connector between MySQL and Excel, so you can do with that also.
Yes, Mr. Vivek, I agree. Tally does not separate the data out of itself, and therefore it is not easy for us to import it into some other database. It is locked inside the application code. The data is locked inside the application code. जी मैम, sorry, आप continue करिए.
Yes. So first, if we want to create, so this is the command to create a database. So let us now see here, as soon as I have given the command create database test DB, so you can see here under the classic models, the test has come.
मैम रिफ्रेश करना पड़ेगा, टेस्ट टीबी बनेगा.
Let me do is what command show databases. So you will be able to see is what test DB.
कनेक्शन करना पड़ेगा.
ये रहा ना टेस्ट DB नहीं दिखा?
हाँ दिखा आ गया.
हाँ. इधर भी आया ना into this also test DB. Right. So first you need to create a database, and then in the database we can create is different tables. So how do we can create tables? So these are the various data types we have already done. Char, varchar, character is fixed size, varchar is variable size, then binary, then we have blob if we want to add a large object, then we need to use all these blob types. Then if it is description, like how do we were having product description. So if you want to give a binary string, long binary string, then we use is text types, and then set if we have any kind of set members. So these are the data types we can use with it. Then how we can create a table, what are the what is the command for it. So the command is create a table, and if not exist, you can say, because if you are working with a database with multiple people working together onto the same database, so it might happen they will result into redundant tables. So to avoid that, it gives error also if you are giving the same table name again. And so you can write is what, create table if not exist, and then give table name, and then you have to write here the various column definitions. So this is how you can give that. So let us see here how do we can create a table. So we are taking a table called as a tasks, and there the आज ना मशीन का कुछ ज्यादा ही प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि किधर के किधर जा रहे हैं सब.
हाँ, I was seeing आपका mouse keeps jumping here and there, so
बहुत जंप हो रहे हैं. So see here, create table if not exist. So I know there is no tasks table here in my database. So I can simply remove that. So here what we are using is task ID as integer, and then auto increment. Now what do this auto increment means is, so automatically whenever I want to enter a new task, I don't have to give the value for ID. It will get incremented automatically. By default it starts from 1. The next time we are going to enter data, it will take the value as 2, then 3, then 4, and so on. The next is title. We are saying title to be varchar with the size as 255, and then it is written not null. Not null means it is mandatory to give the title, right? So nulls are not allowed, hence the name is what, not null. Then next is a start date, where you have to give the date data type. So it will take a date data type. Then due date. So what is the start date of the task? And then what was the due date of the task that we are entering here? Then is the status. What is the status? Again, we are giving it a data type, and then not null. What do it means is, compulsory you have to give the value for status. Similarly, compulsory you have to give the value for priority, because it is written not null. Then description as a text. And if you want to keep when it was created, so created at a new data type is their timestamp. Now from where do it will take that timestamp? So we are saying is take default. So default is a keyword to set the default values. Like how do we say, if we are maintaining, because we are professors, we do a lot for examination work, then we say by default sub students pass ही होता है हमारा. So what we do is by default we put in the result column as pass. If somebody fails, then only we are going to overwrite its value. So default value is which is given as default. Like how do you work here onto any tool? Like we have started working here onto the commands. So here we have got a font size. By default we have got a font size. So that is called as default, with the properties which are been set already. We are not entering. That is called as default. So here similar manner, timestamp default value, it will take current timestamp. Current timestamp. So what is the time now? It will take that current timestamp. So current timestamp is 7.2, and then it will take seconds also, so it will take that value. So we are saying timestamp to be taken from current timestamp. So this is how we can create a table. Create table, table name, column name, data type name, any constraint if you want, then you can add that constraints. So here we have taken as primary key. Now what do we mean by primary key? So primary key is a combination of two constraints. One is that its value should be unique, and second, it should not be null. So primary key is a combination of two constraints. What are those? One is not null and one is unique key. Is the concept related to this is clear? And the meaning of not null and text and timestamp, which will store the timestamp basically, and default keyword and current timestamp. So whatever the timestamp will be of that machine from where we are going to insert its value will get stored in this. Any doubts to anyone till now? Few people are sending the message that they have not received link for today's class.
I tried to send the link to people who messaged me. Now, don't know.
Send me also so that I can send them, or send in the group, WhatsApp group.
I have sent it in the group also, ma'am. ग्रुप में भी भेजा हुआ है मैंने.
WhatsApp group पे.
WhatsApp में कब का भेज दिया है? 6:15 6:30 को ही भेज दिया था.
Okay, ठीक है. Okay.
मैम नॉट null tiny int वो सब डेटा टाइप्स का क्वेश्चन था, तो वी हैड द टेबल, एक स्लाइड था डेटा टाइप्स पे हमारा.
एक मिनट, डेटा टाइप्स वापस दिखा दूं मैं. कल भी लिए थे, वी हैव टेकन यस्टरडे आल्सो, इसीलिए मैंने फटाफट से लेके स्किप कर दिया इसको.
हाँ नहीं, some people are मे बी रिवाइज नहीं हुआ.
हाँ. Okay, so what is it? The data types. We have to give the type of data, right? For that we need this. So character is basically a fixed length string. Like even I discussed the drawback also for this. So char is a fixed size data. Like suppose I have given for a name, I have given it as char, and there I have given size as 50. So what happens is it is going to store 50 bytes for it. But what happens if a person name is only 2 bytes long? That name is Om. So if name is Om, it is just 2 bytes long. And I have given him given the space for his name as 50 bytes. So my 48 bytes are wasted. Right, so this is the drawback of char. Char only we use when we know what is going to be the length of the data. Like suppose I am entering gender for a person, and I know for male we will enter M and for female we will enter F. So I know the size is going to be 1 character, then I will take char. Where do I have a fixed size data, then we use char. Otherwise we go for varchar. So what do varchar does is, maximum limit we put, like there also we have given 50 for the name. But if we store Om there, so it will fix 2 bytes, variable length. So it's a variable length. Then we have is binary strings where we can store. So in char and varchar, they get stored into byte format. Wherever into the binaries, they get stored into binary format. Then we have is a blob. So blob is used to store for a big object, like we want to store a video or an audio. Then we use is what? Blobs here. So blobs are used to store like an image if you want to store. Then we use blob data type. So in blob again we have 4 different varieties. Tiny blob, where I can store a small blob. Blob means any image, any video, any audio. Blob is again from tiny, a bigger size. Medium is bigger than blob, and long blob may you can store a very big video also. Similar manner for text, we have 4 different types. Tiny text, where I can store a single string. Text, where I can store more than that. Medium text, a bigger one, and long text, where I can store even pages of data also. So this is what all about data types which we have used there. Then for integer also similar manner, we have different types of integers. tiny int, long int. So it depends on the size. So if we are taking tiny int, it is 2 bytes, then 4 bytes, then 8 bytes. So the size of the number is going to get increased, right? So this is what we have taken here, that status will be tiny int here, so that it can store a minimum space. So basically it is for minimum space, because we don't want to use a bigger space here. So there are total integers, if we will say, into MySQL. So the different types, we have tiny int, which takes 1 byte. Small int, if I will say, so it will store 2 bytes. Medium int will store 3 bytes. Int will store 4 bytes, and big int will store 8 bytes. So what happens, what do we mean by this byte structuring? So let me take here another example, so that you will understand what does this bytes I am talking about, 1 byte, 2 bytes. So what will be the size? So let me show you that quickly. So what happens is 1 byte is equals to 8 bits, that we all know. That how do computer stores the data? So it is in the form of bits and bytes. So 1 byte is equivalent to 8 bits, and 1 bit is either 0 or either 1. Now if I am saying it is 8 bytes, so how much maximum value it can store? So maximum value which it can store is 2 raised to power 8. So let me give you an example here. Now what do we mean by all this, so that all these concepts becomes clear to you all. So what do I'm saying, that it will take is 2 raised to power 8. So do somebody will put into the message that what will be the value for 2 raised to power 8? If I'm saying 2 raised to power 8, so what will be the value for it? 2 raised to power 8. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, like that way. So 2 raised to power 8. We write now 2 raised to power 8. So what will be its value? So its value is how much? 256. So maximum combination a byte can have is 258. How much it can have? It can have 256 numbers it can store. And what happens is, because we are using computers and we are talking about numbers, so this 256, sometimes we have to store negative values as well. So total numbers it will store is 256 if we have taken 1 byte, but then again it is divided like a number line. So half will be negative numbers and half will be positive numbers. So its range will be where, if I divide this 256 by 2, then half I will get its half. So let me divide it by 2. I am getting its half, that is 128. So its range will be between, minus 128 to positive 127. Now why do positive 127? Because positive 127 is, why it didn't came to my positive 128, because then it will include 0 also. So it is minus 128 to positive 127. So this is going to get stored into 1 byte, the range of numbers which we can store if we are taking it as one single byte. If we take it 2 bytes, then what it will store? What will be its range? Then it is 2 raised to power 8 into 2 is 16. So it is 2 raised to power 16. And what is the value of 2 raised to power 16? So 2 raised to power 16 is 65536. So let me divide it by again 2 to get the range. So if I divide it by 2, it will give me 32768. So its range will be from minus 32768 to positive 32767. If I am taking a 2 byte number. So as I said, that tiny int, so tiny int is 1 byte. So if it is 1 byte, so its values will be from minus 128 to 127. And if we are taking it as unsigned, then maximum values will be from 0 to 255. Total number of combinations will be 256 then. And if I am taking 2 bytes, so it will be from -3 to 768 to +3 to 767. I think now I am clear with all these points. What does this
Yes.
data type will store? Tiny int is 1 byte, so it will store the values between -128 to +127. Priority will also take the values tiny int, so it will also take the values between -128 to +127. Any other doubts to anyone related to these data types? How can we see table task is being stored and how we can retrieve its master and if edits are required. अभी पहले table create कर ले, then we will insert data and then we will go ahead. So this is how a table is being created. So let us go to test database. So we can see here we have a database, test database, and in that table whether it is been created or not. So let's see here, show tables. Command is what? Show tables. Table task already exists. So show tables. So ये classic models use हो गया. Tasks is been created. अच्छा हमने ऊपर यूज नहीं किया था तो वो बाय डिफॉल्ट इसमें ही क्रिएट हो गया. हमने इसको यूज नहीं किया तो वो इधर क्रिएट हो गए. यूज टेस्ट डीबी. Okay, and then in text db I want to create this tasks table, and now if I will say show tables, so it will show me the table in tasks. So task table into text db. You can see here it has come into this. So first database to be created, then write use database, and then we have to give the command. So let me give all this to you in the chat. Create database. First create the database, then bring in use. If you will not bring it in use, तो जो previous use होगा उसमें सारा काम होगा. So use this database, and then we will do is what? We will give this command, that is create table. So the table will get created. Then checklist is to be created. Let us create a relationship between the two tables. So you can see here one task is related to where another table checklist. So which will consist of to do ID, task ID, which will come from tasks table, then to do and is completed. So this will be having a relationship. And how do we create a checklist then? So let us go here. How do we will create then? Create a table checklist. To do will be again an auto increment. Task ID is an integer, and we want that task ID should come from which table? Tasks table. So let me take this and show you there onto the workbench that how do we have used this. So now if I will say show tables, I will be able to see two tables, checklist and this. So how do I have got this? So let us understand its syntax. So ये if not exist मैं हटा देती हूँ because then it is creating confusions that what it is going to do. So first we have taken a column name as to do, which is an auto increment. Then we have taken task ID, which is of int type. Then there is to do, where we are going to write its description. So we have taken up to 255. And can you see here it is written not null, because it will tell what is to be done. To do is to be written here. Then whether the task is completed. So if the task is completed, because we have taken value as boolean, so boolean is again a data type that takes two values, true and false. So if the task is completed, we will set it to true. If the task is not completed, then it is false. And once you are doing this, so by default, when a task is assigned to somebody, we know that it is not completed. So that's the reason we are setting its default value as false. As I said, for the student result, what happens? Suppose, why do we set default value? So let me understand. In my college, we have to prepare results for 3,000 students at a time. And for entering this result as a pass for all 3,000 students becomes very complicated. And we know that hardly 1 or 2% of the students fail, rest everybody passes. So why not to set default value as pass then? So what we do is we just, while entering the data for this, we skip this column. And what happens is, if a particular student fails, only at that time we need to override this value, because default comes as false. And instead of this, if we have to write true, like for us it comes as pass, and we have to write it as fail. So only in that much number of columns, we particular cell, we have to make the changes. Rest everywhere it will come as same. So data entry काम fast हो जाता है, so for writing these default values. So what is that? This is again a constant. What we are saying, default is false. If the task is completed, then we will enter it as true. Then see here, what is the primary key? You have seen in this that primary key was a combination of two, that is to do ID and a task ID. Those star dikh rahe na? So how do we set primary key then? Single tha. If you have remembered here in task, it was a single column as a primary key. So if it is a single primary key, we write with the column name when we were defining. If it is a combination of two, then we have to write it once our all columns have been defined, then we start defining the constraints. So here we are saying primary key is a function basically. So what we are saying, take two columns. So it's a combination of these two columns. So what are those? To do ID and task ID. So in that bracket you have to write it's a combination of two columns. Then next we are saying task ID should be a foreign key. So here we have written foreign key task ID, that understood, but from which table it should take value, that also we have to write. So we are take values from a table. So for that the keyword is references. We refer this table. So which table? Tasks table. And which column of task table? So it is a task ID. Right? Understood this? Foreign key. So which is the foreign key? Task ID is a foreign key. References task and take task ID. Now here, one more thing is there. So if I will put this as a references over there, what will happen if a task is updated now? Updated means task is deleted now, no more available. Then what to do in that case? Task ID वहां से delete हो गया, तो to do में उसकी value है. So what will happen? It will not allow me to delete that task ID, because it is because its reference is there in checklist. So first I need to do is what? I need to delete all the rows from the checklist with that task ID. Then only I will be able to delete it from the task table. So if I want to skip this, what I do is I write one constraint, that on update restrict on delete. So first we are saying on update restricted, on delete cascade. ठीक है, update पे you make restricted because it is already been used here, and on delete cascade means you delete it from here also. So if a task is deleted into the master table, this checklist will become its child table because it is dependent onto it. So what we are saying, cascade means if parent is deleted, its record should get deleted from the child table as well. So let us see, let me enter some data and then we see whether it is working fine or not. So what we are saying, on delete cascade. So if you are deleting it from parents table, it should delete it from the child table also. So let's see how it works. Let me put some data for it. First, we will enter few data into these tables. Let me send you this also, create table tasks. Syntax so that you can create this table.
Ma'am, there is a question whether the foreign key and the foreign key in a table can have a different field name compared to. So is it okay?
Yes. You can give any name. Yes.
They are saying to do underscore ID instead of task ID ऐसा करके. But basically, what the question is that whether we can have
only
different.
thing ये मैंने पिछले सेशंस में भी बताया. The thing is what that its data type and size should remain same. क्योंकि उसको तो डेटा से मतलब होता है, इधर नाम कुछ भी होगा चलेगा. What should be same is its data type and data size if any. Like suppose task ID यहाँ पे varchar होता size 50, उधर 50 तो we have to kept here also 50. The data type and data size should be same. Column name you can take any. Any other doubts to anyone?
Difference between varchar and text. Another is why two primary keys.
See what happens is the text will always store a data type of blob type. Okay, text will always store a blob data type, whereas varchar will store a data into where? Into our string format, and it will store directly into the column. And what happens is, let me give them a bit of this also. What does blob mean? Object का थोड़ा concept आता है ना यहाँ पे. See what happens is you have seen here as a table structure, right? You let me show you here. This is what employee ID you have seen, then employee name you have seen, right? Then suppose here we are going to put the photo of a person. So what happens into reality, into the databases, what happen is my photo, if I will take example of my photo, so instead of directly putting here the photo, I will put the path where it is stored, right? So यहाँ पे क्या आ जाएगा, वो path आ जाएगा कि suppose it is stored into C drive, right? So that path will come, but not the photo itself. Am I making sense here? What happens is whenever we take here now, so object ka location comes, not the object itself. So image is an object, we call it as an object. So whatever takes physical space into the memory is called as an object. So image is an object because it is having its properties. So that object ka location will come and not the object itself. So this is the major difference between varchar and text. So whenever you are writing anything with the text, suppose this is any text you are storing. Suppose I will say a description which you have taken as text. So what will happen, that will be created as an object and will store into another space. But if I am taking a data as varchar, then that will get stored itself into this column, into this particular cell. जैसे यहाँ पे employee ID है 101, it itself will get stored. Employee name, so it itself will get stored values. But if it is a text type, then it is an object type, blob, B-L-O-B, binary large object. So it becomes an object which gets stored here, and object actually is stored somewhere else. यहाँ पे उसका path store होता है. So this is the difference between a text and a varchar. Now, what was the other question? That why we have
two primary keys.
two primary कहाँ है? Single है ना? Two columns in a primary key होगा. हाँ. Okay.
तो उनको समझा.
हाँ. अच्छा ठीक है. Let me give you an example. ये database छोड़ो. Let me give you an example. Who has asked this? May I know whether the person is from Mumbai so that I can give him that relevant example? Okay, we all know that Mumbai may mostly public travels by bus, BST bus, right? And a bus number we know. That is whether it is 172, whether it is 88 number bus, and so on. So these are the bus numbers usually suppose people take to go to their office, and someday a person forgets his bag, right? दो bag carry कर रहा था, तो one bag he forgets in that bus. Then he need to file a complaint in the police station that I lost my bag in bus number 88. Suppose let me take an example for bus number 88. Now we want to know bus number 88 makes almost 20 ferries in a day, right? 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 5 in the evening, and 5 in the late evening. So total 20 ferries are being done by that bus number 88. So how do a policeman will identify it uniquely? That bus number 88 20 buses चली, लेकिन कौन सी वाली बस में आप छोड़ के आए थे? हाउ डू दैट पर्सन विल आइडेंटिफाई? देन देयर ही आस्क यू बस नंबर 88 आई अंडरस्टूड, बट एट व्हाट time you have picked it. So time plus bus number will make a unique key, and that is called as primary key. So what happens is only 88 से नहीं चलेगा, because 88 के तो 20 buses चलती हैं दिन में. So I won't be able to get that. So how do I will be able to understand? Then when you have taken 88 plus time, right? So sometimes what happens is one single column is not able to identify, record uniquely, then we need to take is multiple columns. Let me take another example. ID जब नहीं थे, then how do we use to identify two persons with the same name as unique? So we used to take is their first name plus last name. अगर first name last name भी same आ गए, then अगर किसी ने गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स का देखा होगा, so government schools में attendance पहले कैसे होती थी? They used to call the name of the person and then they used to call the name of his father, right? ऐसे लेते थे. Why so? Because to identify the person uniquely. So why do we need a combination? To again, a combination of columns are required to be a primary key to identify record uniquely. So here we are saying to do ID, that a person is supposed to do this. So here you are writing a description also. Might happen that this to do is given twice to the person. So how do he will understand it? Then we are adding task ID to it. So for this task ID, do this to do. See what happens is, suppose a task ID is 101. It has 2D 1 to 10. Then again you have another task. Suppose task number 210. that also has 2D from 1 to 10. So how do it will identify 1 to 10? मुझे इधर 1 दिखा रहा है, इधर 10, but किसका 1 और किसका 10 करना है, right? So that's the reason to identify which task a person is going to do by his own. So that's the reason we need is what? To do plus task ID. So might happen there are 50 tasks in an organization. So all those task IDs have to-do list, and in those to-do list, हर एक का तो अलग-अलग नहीं रहेगा number. They all are keeping 1 to 20 or 1 to 30, whatever they have, and then they have to give it, assign it to somebody. Am I making sense now? Is the doubt clear? Why do we need a combination here? Because there might happen that several tasks have the same IDs. Then how do we will make the differentiation? Then task ID plus to do ID will make the difference in combination of it. Clear? Okay, so let us insert some data into these tables. Then will somebody will try to put the data into these? Create table, task, insert statements, few insert statements, or let me do that. Describe tasks. So what I got is, first I need to enter is a task ID. So insert into tasks values, and then I have to enter value for task ID. Suppose I'm giving it as 101. Then is a title. So title kya task de? Training is the task. Then start date. So we have to put date. So our training started on 1. So 01/12/2020. Then what is the due date? So due date is 10th of December 2020. And then next is status. Status is in integer. So we will say in progress. So number 1. Priority or top priority के लिए let me put 10 in revert order. Then is a description. So description is a training on data management. Then next is created at current timestamp. Shall I put or shall I skip? And let me see. Task ID भी ये था ना, auto incremented. So मैं ना ये दोनों वैल्यू स्किप करती हूँ. अगर ये दोनों वैल्यू स्किप करती हूँ तो I need to give here all the column names in which I am entering. So let me do that. Our work will become easy to see whether it takes those values or not. Why should I give values? है ना? Task ID में space था और underscore task underscore ID comma title. नहीं, task ID तो देना ही नहीं है हमें. It should be auto incremented, so should take automatically. Title, then is start date comma end due date comma due date, then status, and then priority, and then is description, right? For these I have set the values. It should end with semicolon and then enter. So insert into incorrected date value it is showing. What do it is showing me is incorrected date value. So I need to typecast this as date, then again date I need to typecast it. Date. क्या चल रहा है मेरे माउस का आज? Date. And then it will take as date values. And then I have to write is YY format wala. So I need to change the format here. So that is 2020. Then is month, and then I need is day. Here also 2020, and then month 12, and then day. Let me insert it again. So it is inserted now, because otherwise it was taking as a string and we have taken it as date. So we need to do is what? We need to do this. So let me give you also this query to execute it. So let me see whether it has taken the values for them. So select start from tasks. So can you see here it has taken task ID as 1 and it has taken created के लिए timestamp from my machine. 4th December 2020, time was 7:38 minutes 43 seconds. Because we have said that you take it from current timestamp. So current timestamp of the machine it has taken. And task ID, because we have said that it should be auto incremented. So as I said that it starts from 1 and automatically it takes values for others. Making sense now? So let me take another task now. Here it was a training. So next we will take as examination. Date. So date will be, let me take it as 2021 in the month of Jan. 01. We will start it from 10th of Jan. And due date will be 2021 and 15th Jan. So 15th Jan. So month here 01, and then will be what? Day. 15 Jan it will be due. Okay, then it is what? Examination on data management. So examination on data management. So let me see whether it gets auto incremented or not. Do it is going to take values too for this. So you can see that yes, it has taken automatically incremented 2 and automatically updated the timestamp. So when this task is created, so this is the date when it was created. Okay. So let me give you this also so that you can execute and see how we enter, how we insert values into a table. Why dates are required to be entered into quotes? See, what happens is dates are dates because it consists of a value. So how do we have to separate it? We have to separate because you have seen that how I was separating by them dash, right? So how do it will understand that it is a complete date, year, then this and that. So that's the reason we need to tell the machine that it's a single block of information. That's the reason we have to enter it into single quotes. The data type is not text or character. समझा नहीं बबीता? The Babita ma'am, what is this? The data type is not text or characters. About date you are talking, na? So dates are required to be entered in quotes because they consist of three things, na? Year, month, and this. Yes, ma'am. So please listen it carefully because it consists of three year, month, and day, and we separate them with hyphen. And to the machine, we have to tell that it's a single value. That's the reason we have to put it into quotes. How to import data from Excel file to SQL table?
मैम एक छोटा सा बेसिक स्टेप्स बता देता हूँ if they want. See, the Excel directly is not a database, so it won't allow you to import. However, if you have data in Access or any other database, there is a wizard which allows you to do that. Let me see if I can do that as well.
उधर से कर दो, कनेक्टर से ही.
नहीं, कनेक्टर से तो वो तो अलग है. मतलब MySQL में there is a मतलब for any database there was another question also that can you take data from various other sources. So I don't know if my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So over here in the database menu, you have the migration wizard available. So migration wizard is used for two things. One is to import data and the other is to export data. So you can use the wizard if you are doing it for the first time. Otherwise, there is this data export and data import option available. Okay, so let me just show you the wizard, which is slightly easier. So you take the migration wizard from the database menu and then you basically follow steps. So the first thing you do is, if you want, you can read it. There is an ODBC administrator. So you can open your ODBC administrator to connect to any database which you have on your computer. So this is
basically called as open database connectivity. Full form बता देंगे तो easy पड़ेगा. So it is called as open database connectivity.
So here you can actually add a connection to an Excel file. So you can, so this is in every Windows machine, this is available. So you can add a connection to connect to an SQL server or an Excel or an Access database. So if you have, let me just try it out. On my machine, I have not done this before. So let me just give it a DSN, my DSN XLS. कुछ भी नाम दे सकते हैं. और you have to select the work group. So suppose अब मुझे मालूम नहीं कि मेरे पास मैंने
एक बना लो ना वर्कबुक. पहले एक बना लो ना छोटा सा.
हाँ मैम, शायद तो कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा अपने मेरे डेस्कटॉप पे. So let me just see. Users Asif. So I'm just going to my desktop wherever. So आपके पास जहाँ पे भी आपका, so there are lots of files which are there. Let me just take this. Let's say I have an MSc Viva. I don't remember what that is. Let's say. Okay, so I was thinking what to take. अच्छा चलो कुछ भी ले लेते हैं. So let's take this. Student list with RONT. Okay, ठीक है. So staff list. Take मेरे पास एक Excel file. I'll just take this. Click OK. So I have set a DSN name and I've connected to an Excel. So ये मेरा एक My DSN XLS नाम का connection बन गया है. I will click on OK. Now what I will do is I will start my migration. So once I've created a ODBC connection using this button, I can start migration by. Now over here I have to do source selection. So ये याद रखिए कि कहाँ से कहाँ भेजना है. So currently we want to take data from somewhere. So we select that the data which we are going to take, okay, is from a either a Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, SQL, SQL 92 compliant, RDBMS, SQL Anywhere, SQLite. बहुत सारे options हैं हमारे पास. Just look at this and see if I can find
stored connection.
So generic database नहीं, वो नहीं लेगा Excel का. Actually वही problem है. So what I did was I have an SQLite database. So SQLite database sample मेरे पास एक पड़ा हुआ था, तो I will just take that. It is
वो Excel से एक्सपोर्ट हो जाता है डायरेक्टली अगर हमारे पास वो MySQL कनेक्टर है ना.
हाँ, कनेक्टर है तो एक्सपोर्ट हो जाएगा.
हाँ,
वो एक बार हो सकता है. So this is how you basically connect to any database. And then if you test the connection, you will see if the connection has succeeded. And then you basically do next, and you will be able to, so where you want to take it is in my local SQL server. So this is the target. So एक बार आपका source define हो गया, target आपको password अगर आपको पूछेगा तो दे दीजिएगा, and then you will see that the connection and it will check the target DBMS connection and it will automatically now follow the steps and it will retrieve. There might be some error. So ये database है जो मैं import कर सकता हूँ. Once I select this and I bring it over here, it will come into my database. All right. So this is a simple way of creating this. Another was जैसे मैम ने आपको database creation बताया था, तो ये आपके databases यहाँ पे हैं. So you will be able to see that. Another is this data import or restore, but ये generally हम लोग करते हैं when we are importing from another SQL database on your data. So one to the other. Okay. So right now we will not do this, but there are these options which are there. Ma'am, do you want to show it through the connector once?
Let me see if connector is there. Yes, connector is there.
नहीं तो we'll have just enough time to do stored procedures थोड़ा सा.
ठीक है, तो स्टोर प्रोसीजर कराते हैं.
जी. Your screen is not shared. Do you want to share your, or should I go?
हाँ, you go ahead.
Okay. So let me just start off with a very simple query. Okay. Let's say we have this, select customer name, city, state, postal code and country from customers, order by customer name. Okay, so this is just a simple query. You can write it in one line. I've just written it in multiple lines. So you will see customer name, city, state, postal code, country have been selected and they've been ordered by the name of the customer. So I don't have customer code or any of the other address line 1, address line 2, wo sab nahi hai. I've just selected few fields. Now, what if I wanted to do this multiple times? I can store some of my queries as what we call as stored procedures. I remember yesterday, many people were asking, what if I want to do it again and again? See, what happens is sometimes your questions are there, but we have to wait. So let me just show you. So here you have if you see the schema, there are tables, views, and stored procedures. Okay, so let me create a new stored procedure. I'll right click on the stored procedures and say create stored procedures. When I do this, I will automatically get create procedure and the name of the new procedure. I can say, specify whatever name I want. Let's say get customers is my stored procedure which I want. So create procedure called get customers. So I have to give the name of the procedure, and then over here I will put my entire query between begin and end. जो भी मुझे करना है वो begin और end के बीच में आएगा. तो मैंने वही query जो अभी लिखी थी, whatever we had written over there in select customer name, city, state. Okay, I'm just copy pasting that into between begin and end. I just reduce the size of this a little bit. Okay, so you will see between begin and end, I've written that same query. Select from, order by, whatever it is. You can write any complicated join, inner join, whatever you want. You can do whatever, any kind of queries which we've learned, we can put it over here. And then we will click on this apply.
Asif, they are saying no screen is visible.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Can you see my screen, ma'am?
Yes, now I can see. I will show them using that connector also. It's working fine on my machine as well.
Okay.
Okay, we
So let
finish
me
this.
go.
You start it again.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's visible right now, right?
Babita ji, we will take for 5 minutes more. They are saying we have lost 5 minutes. So no, you will not lose 5 minutes. We will take it more today.
Don't worry. So on your left hand side schemas, you will see tables, views, stored procedures. So I have taken a query which is something like this. Select customer name, city, state, postal code and country from customers, order by customer name. ये normal query है, एक line में भी लिख सकते थे. I have written it in multiple lines. And then I have executed this to see this output. You will see customer name, city, state, so you can see this over here. Now, what if I wanted to run this again and again at a future time? I don't want to write it again and again, but so what I can do is I can take this entire thing, copy it, and create a stored procedure. As the name suggests, it will be a procedure which is stored for future use. So I can right click on this stored procedure and click on create stored procedures. So when I click on that, it will give me some basic outline. This outline is useful because then I can write my name of my stored procedures. Let me say, okay, get customers. Okay, this is my whatever name you want. You can write any name which makes sense to you, and then write your query or whatever you want to write your SQL statement between begin and end. So between begin and end, I write that same query which I was running right now. Okay, with the semicolon, everything, you just write the whole thing. You can write inner joins, whatever you want, you can write. That is not a criteria on how complicated query you can write over there. Once you do that, you click on apply. So I will click on apply. So it will create some extra code which is required to execute on its own. Otherwise, you can, or if you know, so what it will do is it will use classic models database. It will drop any get customers procedure. अगर पहले से कोई exist करता होगा, तो drop procedure क्या करेगा? It will drop the procedure if get customer exists. It will drop it. Drop it means delete it. Then it will again use the classic models, create this procedure जो हमारा code है, and बंद हो जाएगा. तो delimiter start or delimiter end is just telling you that something starts and something ends. So this, when I apply, the execute statement will be created and I will finish. Now, if I look at the stored procedures, I will see if I click this triangle there. Okay, I'll refresh over here. So when I refresh this, I'll see get customers naam ka stored procedure has been created. Right? So if I want, I can, use this. Okay, procedure call. Or I can just go to my query and I can directly call it by saying, now ये सब लिखने की जगह I will write call get customers bracket open bracket close semicolon. तो ये call जो है ये keyword है, जो call हमने लिखा है वो keyword है, that we are calling a stored procedure called get customers. if अगर इस नाम का procedure नहीं होगा तो error आएगा, but because I have one and I hit control enter, you will see again the same output here, which was for customers. Okay, so you will be able to call stored procedures by using the keyword call. All right. So if you want to use any stored procedures, you are free to create your own stored procedures as we go ahead. True. Okay. The next part, ma'am, do you want to do the connector part first?
हाँ, एक मिनट, एक क्वेश्चन था, how we can do bulk insert. So I was replying her. Let me give her reply. Insert into table name as select star.
मैम आपका स्क्रीन नहीं है, सॉरी.
टेबल नेम. एक मिनट में आ रही हूँ, बस एक सेकंड.
Sure. All right. Yeah, so you complete that till then I'll just discuss certain things.
हाँ, let me share now. Sharing का rights किधर गया मुझे?
That below the camera icon there is a screen monitor icon.
नहीं, वो presenter का आ रहा है मुझे.
Monitor.
Mic.
That is presenter only. That only.
अच्छा.
Click on that only.
नहीं वो make presenter है.
That's okay. Without becoming presenter, you won't be able to share the screen.
नहीं, that is to give somebody else to make presenter. Give me the rights to show my screen. हाँ. Is my screen visible now?
No one.
Excel file.
मैम ऊपर सबसे ऊपर फाइल के नीचे शेयरिंग में जाइए. फाइल मेनू के नीचे शेयरिंग लिखा है.
हाँ. Show screen.
पहला बटन है
हाँ.
शो स्क्रीन.
हाँ, show screen. Yes, got it. आया अभी?
No. Yes. Done.
Excel आ गई ना? Okay, previously also I have shown you once that for that we need is MySQL connector, right? If you want, I will put that MySQL connector in Google Drive also. So once that MySQL connector for Excel is installed, it will come into the data tab. So Excel में there is data tab that shows MySQL for Excel, right? So this is a connector between Excel and MySQL. So let me quickly take data, like suppose I have product ID, then I am taking as a product name. Like as you said that I have a file in Excel, so I am taking this, and suppose the next is a price, its price. So quickly let me take three 102 103 product names, because it's time for tea and coffee. So let me take tea, coffee, milk powder. Then what's the price? So let me take some random prices here. 120 and 105. Okay. So this is data with me, and this is a file, and I want to create a table, this Excel file. Where do I need to put? I need to put into test DB. वहां पे ये table create होना चाहिए. So how do I can do that? So I will go to MySQL for Excel connector. I will click onto this. It will bring me here everything. So I need to connect to the local instance. So what is that my local instance? You know that it is root by which we have been connected. I am supposed to enter the database name. Then in which database schema I want to enter. So I am having classical models test and test DB. So let me select here test DB, and then I will click on to next. So once I have clicked on to next, remember this, whenever you do this step, your data to be selected. If your data is not selected, you won't be able to see the statement export Excel to MySQL. So first your data is to be selected, that is required. Then only this will get highlighted, export Excel data to a new table. So I will click onto this, export Excel data to a new table. So you can see here it has given me a new screen where I need to give the name of the table. So let me give the name of the table as my products. So it has taken that name. If you want to add a primary key, suppose my product ID should be a primary key, so I will click onto this. Then you can see here we have to specify first row contains column names. So yes, my first row contains column names. So tick this. So once it is ticked, now you can say export data, right? Just only you have to click to where export data. And then my products table has come to that. Let me see this. Now I'm going to workbench. I will refresh this. I will go to test DB, go to tables, and then you will see here how many tables do I have. Do my products has come or not? See here, my products has come. So I can write here now, use test DB, and I want to see whether that table ka data also has come or not. So I have said is what, use test DB, and then I am saying select star from my products. This was the table name. So I have given this, and you can see all my data has come here. So this is how you can take it from where Excel to MySQL. You can export your data. Am I clear with the doubts? Any other doubts to anyone? Is this part clear now? How you can bring your Excel data to MySQL? For that you need is first a connector. That is MySQL to Excel connector you need. Points are clear now?
Yes.
Any other doubts?
Ma'am, ma'am, I think people are wanting Tally ka hai. So yes, Tally, say if you can get it to Excel, maybe you can move it to
Yes, if
MySQL
you
that
get
way.
it to Excel, Excel mein you will get it into a .csv file, and that is possible if you have ERP Tally. Tally with ERP वाला जो version है ना, उसमें it is possible that data comes into CSV format or XML.
The,
Then
the connector we will upload into the drive. That is not a problem.
connector we
Trigger
will
is
upload.
remaining. We will use next tomorrow a little part in the initial part. We'll just finish off triggers before we start with R. I will request everybody to install R and R Studio and keep. There is no need for a demonstration of the R installation because it's very, very straightforward. Just get double click on it and follow the steps. I don't think there are any settings required per se. Okay. So if there is, do we want to do the demo tomorrow, or is it okay if we skip the demo for the R installation?
I don't think so. We need R के लिए demonstration because
so we
इसके
will
लिए
just
चाहिए.
ask you tomorrow if everybody's installed it, then it's great, then we don't need to do it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. There's a question by Mr. Kalpesh. What is it? What's your take on Power BI and SQL? Even Power BI, we can connect many tables. So which one is better, and what are the pros and cons? Oh, Power BI takes data from MySQL or any other. Please understand, Power BI is not a database.
Power BI is basically a decision making tool, and basically it works with visualizations as well. So visualization is not possible with database. So
Power BI is an application which sits over a database. So any database,
yes.
MySQL is one database, but the very first step in every Power BI application, जब हम start करते हैं, is to import data from somewhere. So somewhere where do we import the data from? Either Excel, Access, MySQL server, or SQL server, or somebody. So they are completely different things. This is the backend. जो हम लोग कहते हैं कि that the database MySQL is a backend. If I want to manipulate data at the backend level, you need SQL. If
Basically,
I want to manipulate data just visually, then you need Power BI.
Yes. Yes, it's a visual tool, or you can say as analytical reporting tool, we call it as in our terms. So it is basically an analytical reporting tool which helps you to bring data from different databases. Suppose there is an organization which stores its data into multiple databases. Suppose into if they have 4 branches, and in one branch they are storing their data into MySQL, another branch stores into Oracle, the third branch stores into SQL Server. So what happens is, because now the data is being stored onto different databases, they are not able to analyze and make decisions onto it properly. So Power BI is basically a reporting tool which gives us the facility to get this distributed data to bring at one location and then to have a visualization onto it. So it is not a database. MySQL is a database which is not a visual tool and not a reporting tool.
All right. So I think that's all the time we have today. And again, tomorrow again we will do a little bit of MySQL जो pending रह गया है, we'll definitely cover it. Skip नहीं करेंगे. And we will then move on to R.
So thank you everybody for patience listening to us.
Bye everyone. मैम वो
Bye.
कनेक्टर अगर हो सके तो अपलोड कर दीजिएगा MySQL में.
हाँ, कनेक्टर में डाल देती हूँ ड्राइव पे.
And please remember, R and R Studio are already uploaded in that bit.ly WRIC MySQL link जो मैंने इतनी बार शेयर किया है उसी लिंक पे है. Please.
ये देखिए है भी सही, ये R Studio और R दोनों भी है. तो फर्स्ट इंस्टॉल R एंड देन इंस्टॉल R Studio.
R 4.0.3 इंस्टॉल पहले करिए, उसके बाद R Studio 1.3 इंस्टॉल करिएगा. ऑर्डर इज इंपॉर्टेंट, नहीं तो एरर्स आएंगे. प्लीज याद रखिए, R 4.0.3 फर्स्ट, देन R Studio. नहीं, सर मैंने ऑलरेडी पीपीटी शेयर किया हुआ है. गेट कस्टमर्स का कोड उसमें है. Mr. Harshil, I have already shared the PPT on WhatsApp group. Please take it from there. I have already shared the PPT. All right. Thank you, everyone. I've already shared today's PPT on WhatsApp. So if you need anything to cover, please go back and refer to it. Thank you.
What is a VC redistribution? So it's a VC++ Visual C++ tool which is required to install MySQL if it is not available on your machine by default.
This also is available in that same drive. वो first file आप देखेंगे, VC redistributable file already है. This green colored first वाला file. If you have an error, you can install this first.
हाँ, तो there is Harshil sir is saying he is not into WhatsApp group.
अरे बाप रे. So I've already pasted the link. मैम लिंक लिख दीजिए ना नोटपैड में, let everybody know. https://bit.ly.
नहीं, he is saying he is not in WhatsApp group.
हाँ, तो WhatsApp ग्रुप में नहीं, उनको लिंक चाहिए क्या? WhatsApp ग्रुप चाहिए.
WhatsApp ग्रुप चाहिए होगा तो उनको वो सब PPTs वगैरह भी मिल जाएंगी ना.
हाँ, तो WhatsApp ग्रुप के लिए प्लीज कॉन्टेक्ट द एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर WIRC. They will have your number. They'll be able to add you. Just link दे दीजिए for everybody to see. bit.ly/WRIC.
Repeat
https://forward bit.ly/WRIC MySQL. WRIC में मैंने मिस्टेक किया है स्पेलिंग का, तो WRIC है, WIRC नहीं है.
WRIC MySQL, right?
Yes. Just show that on notepad. दिख नहीं रहा आपका नोटपैड.
मैंने ना उसमें ही डाला क्वेश्चंस वाले में.
अच्छा, क्वेश्चन में डाला है.
हाँ,
नहीं, वहाँ पे मैंने बहुत बार डाला है, बट फिर भी वही क्वेश्चन आता है. हाँ, वही क्वेश्चन वो बार-बार आता है.
https://bit.ly/WIRC किया ना?
नहीं, RIC. नहीं, WRIC.
WRIC MySQL. I have sent here in the chat also. They are saying kindly share command of repetitive query for creating get customers.
शेयर कर दिया, उसमें सब कुछ है.
They are saying upload all the presentations in G Drive then.
No, we have already uploaded the presentation in WhatsApp. Already I have done that.
So those who are not in WhatsApp, yes.
We will upload it in the drive also.
Yes. So we will make a folder and we will put there.
Yes.
ठीक है.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.